Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I'm going to talk about comparison, and this is a request by a gentleman called James Rule, who I know on LinkedIn, and but also, I can't believe I haven't done a live on this subject before, because it comes up so much. And I started to think, when James suggested it, I started to think about where on earth does it start that we begin to compare our everything. I mean, I tried to start thinking, I was going to write in the post, I thought it'll just be everything, won't it? Because what is it? What do we compare? Well, we compare our bodies, our relationships, if you live in one country and somebody lives in a different country, we compare our weather. But let's we could just literally go on and on and on, couldn't we? Our how many holidays a year we have. And I think where this has got worse now, because when I was a kid, God, I can't believe I say that now. I sound like an old woman. When I was a kid, there were very few, I'm 51, so there were very few places to compare. You could compare with your neighbours, the people who lived on your street. There was the odd magazine where you might look at other bodies and be comparing yourself with those. There was not the same level of information that makes it look like other people are having a better time of it than us, which is pretty much what we're doing when we're caught up in comparison. But also, I think, having stepped out of education into the business world, I remember almost feeling overwhelmed, I guess, with the number of things I was supposed to be doing, the way my life was supposed to be as a business owner, what time I'm supposed to be getting up in the morning, comparison after comparison after comparison. So what is comparison? Well, you'll be surprised to hear, I don't think, that it's thought. It's a thought, isn't it? It's a thought of somebody's something is often better than mine. I don't think we tend to compare the other way so much. I guess we might call that judgment rather. But it is actually a kind of judgment, is comparison, isn't it? Because actually what we're doing is we're judging that our business, success, life, whatever, is not as good as somebody else's, and that therefore we should be doing something different to get ourselves to be in the same place as somebody else. And I remember once I know I haven't done a live, a broadcast about this, but I have actually posted about this before on social media. And I remember posting because I had a vase of flowers on my kitchen table my lovely fiance had bought me. And in the vase of flowers, there was one rose that was absolutely it had opened fully, and it was massive, beautiful thing. And then there was this little tiny rose that where the flower hadn't opened yet. It was still sort of closed up in its little bud. And next to each other, you might think, well, there's the amazing, beautiful rose, the big one, that's better, and the little one isn't so good. But what I remember thinking was, they don't care. The little rose is not sitting in the vase trying to be the big rose. it's perfect just as it is. And I don't know why I feel quite emotional just now, but I often do. So let's just go with it. Because you're perfect exactly as you are right now. And thinking you're supposed to be somewhere else, being like somebody else, actually hinders your ability to move in a direction that's right for you. It gets in the way. It stifles your growth, because somebody else might be meant to be growing over here and you're actually meant to be growing over here. But if all the time you're looking at this person, you're going to be doing this, but actually your intuition is trying to make you kind of go the other way. So you're not going in the direction that's right for you because you think you're supposed to be like somebody else. It's, and it comes up in terms of time as well. When I started out in business, there was a lot of noise in terms of how I should be marketing my business and where my business should go and how I should be planning and all of those things. And I think what that did for a very long time was stifle my ability to grow in a direction that's right for me, because I was trying to be like everybody else. And what's coming to mind now, because that's the way these broadcasts go, is it's just what comes into my head as we flow through them. But what's coming to mind now is that is just getting in the way, all that noise. So when we think about comparison, it's thought. And thought, our old conditioned thinking, which is what all that comparison is, stops us from connecting to what is in here. And if we don't all connect to what is in here, how will we have the next light bulb, the next internet, the next Google, the next whatever? When we think about all the amazing things, even the next Facebook, hazard to say that, not a big fan, but anyway, people who came up with things that are now our staple parts of our lives did not walk around comparing themselves to other people. They went with here, or, gut, heart, whatever speaks to you. And they followed what made sense to them. They followed their new thinking, their intuition. If our heads are noisy and full of all that comparison, we're not going to hear that little voice. I often liken it to an orchestra or a big brass band. All the noise of comparison, or the noise of any other thinking really, but we're talking about comparison. The noise of all the comparison filling our heads stops us from hearing the little flute, or maybe even it's like a little piccolo tweeting away saying, listen to me. We're all connected to something so much bigger than us as individuals. And that can't come through as if we're caught up in the noise of our heads. It's got something to say to you. And if you're thinking all the time, I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to be there, I'm not like this person, I'm not like that person, my business isn't like this person's business, what's meant to come out of you as an individual will be stifled. And I think the reason why I feel so emotional about this today, which it's just fine, is because I've been caught in that trap myself for such a long time. I think it was one of the reasons I burnt out, trying to make my life like somebody else's life. Initially, when I was a primary school head teacher, or becoming a primary school head teacher, I was chasing something that everybody else seemed to have, that I seemed to want. When I got there, it wasn't actually that good. And that's the other danger with comparison. I pretty much guarantee that when you get there, it won't be where you want to be.
because it's somebody else's there, it's not yours. And it gets in the way of you following what's right for you. I've done it as a head teacher, and I did it again when I started my first business, but I am not doing it this time, which is why I am turning up doing broadcasts whilst crying, because I literally don't care. That is what I'm doing right now. And I don't care what anybody else is doing. Less and less I care what other people are doing. I'm doing this, crying for you. With lots of love. Don't hide behind what other people are doing, please. Do what you're supposed to do. We all need that. The world needs that.
Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.